it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have my art haul from Yallfest, so stay tuned. So I have over 40 books here from Yallfest. So I think I may actually split this into two parts and do like 20 and then do the rest in another one. Like 20 or 21 in this one and then the rest in another. Because otherwise this video would be far too long. So that just means I can do another giveaway. Okay, so I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just going to grab a book and tell you what it says. Okay, so the first book here is A Phoenix First Must Burn, edited by Patrice Caldwell. This says 16 stories of black girl magic, resistance, and hope. And this comes out March of 2020. And I think it looks beautiful. It just says Beyonce's Lemonade meets Octavia Butler in 16 tales by best-selling and award-winning authors that explore the black experience through fantasy, science fiction, and magic. Very cool. Okay, next we have The Thief Not, a Green Glass House story by Kate Milford. This is a middle grade and it comes out January 2020. It's quite large as well. This says, ghosts, a kidnapping, a crew of young detectives, and family secrets mix in this new standalone mystery set in the world of the best-selling Green Glass House. Marzana and her best friend Nalia are bored. In a city where normal rules don't apply, it seems that adventure should be everywhere. Yet nothing exciting ever happens to them. Nothing, that is, until Marzana's parents are recruited to help solve a kidnapping that makes no sense. This could be the excitement Marzana and Nalia have been waiting for, if they can solve the crime without getting caught meddling. They gather a group of kid detectives with special skills, including a magician, a master of subterfuge, and the ghost of a ship captain's daughter, to join them in a heart-pounding race against the clock to beat the deadline for a ransom that's impossible to pay. But in a place where nothing and no one are what they appear to be, from architecture that changes overnight to the substitute math teacher to Marzana's own parents, it soon becomes clear that even the kidnapping might not be what it seems. There's more to unravel than just the crime, and truths to be discovered about their families and themselves, if only the young detectives can puzzle them out in time. So it looks like the Green Glass House is a series, and this, you don't have to have read that, I guess, because this is a standalone, but it's set in that same world. Okay, next we have The Dark Matter of Mona Starr by Laura Lee Guledge. And this, I believe, is middle grade. No, this is YA. And it is a graphic novel. It's all in black and white. But the art looks really cool. This says, a bold and original YA graphic novel about battling your inner doubts and fears and finding your genius by Laura Lee Guledge, the author of Page by Page. Sometimes the world is too much for Mona Starr. She's sweet, geeky, and creative, but it's hard for her to make friends and connect with other people. She's like a lot of sensitive teenagers, but in the hands of graphic novelist Laura Lee Guledge, Mona's struggle with depression takes on a vivid, concrete form. Mona calls it her matter. The matter gets everywhere, telling Mona she's not good enough and that everyone around her wishes she would go away. But through therapy, art, writing, and the persistence of a few good friends, Mona starts to understand her matter and how she and readers can turn their fears into strengths. Heartfelt, emotionally vulnerable, and visually stunning, The Dark Matter of Mona Starr is a story that takes the inner life of a teenager seriously, while giving readers a new way to look at the universal quest for meaning and connection. And this comes out April 2020. Next we have We Are the Wildcats by Saban Vivian. And this comes out March 2020. This says, a toxic coach finds himself outplayed by the high school girls on his team in this deeply suspenseful novel, which unspools over 24 hours through 6 diverse perspectives. Tomorrow, the Wildcats varsity field hockey squad will play their first game of their new season. But at tonight's team sleepover, the girls are all about forging the bonds of trust, loyalty, and friendship necessary to win. Everything hinges on the midnight initiation ceremony, a beloved tradition and the only facet of being a Wildcat that the girls control, until now. Coach, a handsome former college player revered and feared in equal measure, changes the plan and spins his team on a new adventure. One where they take a rival team's mascot for a joyride, crash a party in their pajamas, and break into the high school for the perfect picture. But as the girls slip out of their comfort zone, so do some long-held secrets. And just how far they're willing to go for their team takes them all, especially Coach, by surprise. A testament to the strength and resilience of modern teenage girls, We Are the Wildcats will have readers cheering. Okay, the next one we have here is The Iron Will of Genie Lo by F.C. Yee, or G. This comes out January of 2020. And I didn't realize it at the time, but this is actually the sequel to The Epic Crush of Genie Lo. And I pulled that up on Goodreads so I could tell you about it. It says, Genie Lo is one among droves of Ivy hopeful overachievers in her sleepy Bay Area suburb. You know, the type who wins. When she's not crushing it at volleyball or hitting the books, Genie is typically working on how to crack the elusive Harvard entry code. But when her hometown comes under siege from hellspawn straight out of Chinese folklore, her priorities are dramatically rearranged. Enter Quentin Sun, a mysterious new kid in class who becomes Genie's self-appointed guide to battling demons. While Genie knows Quentin only as an attractive transfer student with an oddly formal command of the English language, in another reality he is Sun Wukong, the mythical Monkey King incarnate, right down to the furry tail and penchant for peaches. Suddenly, acing the SATs is the least of Genie's worries. The fates of her friends, family, and the entire Bay Area all depend on her summoning an inner power that Quentin assures her is strong enough to level the very gates of heaven. But every second Genie spends tapping into the secret of her true nature is a second in which the lives of her loved ones hangs in the balance. Okay, that sounds really interesting. And so this is the sequel to that, and this comes out January 2020. Okay, next we have The Last Confession of Autumn Casterly by Meredith Tate. And it says here, I'm in over my head. I shouldn't have come here. I don't want to die. And this comes out February 2020. This says, when band geek Ivy and her friends get together, things start with a rousing board game and end with arguments about Star Wars. Her older sister Autumn is a different story. Enigmatic, aloof, and tough as nails, Autumn hasn't had real friends or trusted anyone in years, even Ivy. But Autumn may not be tough enough. After a drug deal gone wrong, Autumn is beaten, bound, and held hostage. Now trapped between life and death, she leaves her body, seeking help. No one can sense her presence, except her sister. When Autumn doesn't come home, Ivy just knows she is in trouble. Unable to escape the chilling feeling that something isn't right, Ivy follows a string of clues that brings her closer to rescuing her sister, and closer to danger. Autumn needs Ivy to find her before time runs out. But soon, both sisters realize that finding her also means untangling the secrets that led to the truth about where they're hiding Autumn and what Autumn has been hiding. Oh, this next one I tried really hard to get, and I was super excited when I finally got it, and that is Chosen, which is the sequel to Slayer, which it's set in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer world, and y'all know I love it. I can't remember what I gave Slayer. I think I gave it 4 stars when I read it. But yay, I've got the sequel. I'm so excited. This comes out January 2020. If you don't know what Slayer's about, it's about a girl named Nina whose father was at one time Buffy's watcher. And he died protecting Buffy. And Nina has always kind of hated Slayers because of that. But she's grown up in the Watchers Council. She's grown up knowing about all of the Watchers and all of the Slayers, and her and her sister are kind of being trained as Watchers, though her sister's more being trained and Nina's just kind of pushed off to the side. And when the big spell happened that caused the end of the Slayer line, apparently there was one more Slayer right the second before that line was ended, and Nina is the very last Slayer ever. And yeah, it was really good. It was really interesting having all of the like references to Buffy, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this. Okay, next we have The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. And this is a Yallfest exclusive edition. This comes out May of 2020. This says, outcast by blood, warriors by choice. 16-year-old Decca lives in fear and anticipation of the blood ceremony that will determine whether she will become a member of her village. Already different from everyone else because of her unnatural intuition, Decca prays for red blood so she can finally feel like she belongs. But on the day of the ceremony, her blood runs gold, the color of impurity, and Decca knows she will face a consequence worse than death. Then a mysterious woman comes to her with a choice: stay in the village and submit to her fate, or leave to fight for the Emperor in an army of girls just like her. They are called Alaki, near immortals with rare gifts, and they are the only ones who can stop the Empire's greatest threat. Knowing the dangers that lie ahead, yet yearning for acceptance, Decca decides to leave the only life she's ever known. But as she journeys to the capital to train for the biggest battle of her life, she will discover that the great walled city holds many surprises. Nothing and no one are quite what they seem to be, not even Decca herself. And I forgot that this one is also signed as well. Right there. Which is pretty cool. And I haven't said it yet, but the key word for this video is Yallfest. Okay, the next book I have here is Diamond City by Francesca Flores. And this comes out January 2020. I actually got to meet the author. I didn't think to get her to sign it, but I did get a little video with her, or a little picture at Fierce Friday. Anyway, this one says, meet Ania Solis, whose wit is as sharp as her blade. 18-year-old Ania is a professional assassin with a bounty on her head. In an industrial wasteland full of half-constructed subway tunnels, blood magic, secret markets, and wolf-sized spiders, only one girl holds the power to change her city forever. And if I didn't say, this comes out January 2020. Okay, next up we have Running by Natalia Sylvester. And this comes out May 2020. This says, how do you find your voice when the whole world is watching? Mariana's father is running for the highest office in the land. Mary knows he'll make a good president, but for her, the campaign is turning into a nightmare. From a disastrous live TV tour of their home to doctored photos that go viral, she is right in the middle of it all, and not in a good way. Worse, until now, she was unaware of her father's political positions. But as the campaign heats up, Mari finds it harder to ignore not just the news, but the growing student activism at her school. Activism that seems pointedly against her father. She has always known him to be a good, generous man, but maybe he isn't who she thought he was. And confronting him, well, that's not an option. Or is it? This inspiring, authentic, and gorgeously written novel about waking up and speaking up will stay with you long after the last page is turned. So this is Natalia Sylvester's debut novel, and she is from Lima, Peru. Okay, next up we have Of Curses and Kisses by Zendaya Mignon, and this comes out February 2020. It says, will the princess save the beast? For Princess Jaya Rao, nothing is more important than family. When the loathsome Emerson clan steps up their centuries-old feud to target Jaya's little sister, nothing will keep Jaya from exacting her revenge. Then Jaya finds out she'll be attending the same elite boarding school as Gray Emerson, and it feels like the opportunity of a lifetime. She knows what she must do, make Gray fall in love with her, and then break his heart. But much to Jaya's annoyance, Gray's brooding demeanor and lupine blue eyes have drawn her in. There's simply no way she and her sworn enemy could find their fairy tale ending, right? His lordship, Gray Emerson, is a misanthrope. Thanks to an ancient curse by a Rao matriarch, Gray knows he's doomed once he turns 18. Sequestered away in the mountains at St. Rosetta's International Academy, he's lived an isolated existence until Jaya Rao bursts into his life. Sparkling and elegant, Jaya is unlike anyone Gray has ever met. Still, he can't shake the feeling that she's hiding something that might just have to do with the rose-shaped ruby pendant around her neck. As the stars conspire to keep them apart, Jaya and Gray grapple with questions of love, loyalty, and whether it's possible to write your own happy ending. Okay, next up we have Rules for Being a Girl by Candace Bushnell and Katie Cotugno. And this comes out April 2020. This says, remember girls, don't wear too much makeup, don't wear short skirts, don't distract the boys, don't get so skinny your curves disappear, don't get so curvy you aren't skinny, don't be a doormat, don't be bossy, don't be easy, don't be cold, don't give him the wrong idea, don't blame him for trying, don't walk alone at night, don't worry so much, smile. Marin has always been good at navigating the unspoken guidelines of being a girl. A star student and editor of the school paper, Marin's future seems bright, and her young, charismatic English teacher, Mr. Beckett, admires her writing. But when Bex takes things too far and comes on to Marin, she's shocked and horrified. Had she somehow led him on? Was it her fault? Worst of all, nobody believes her. As things heat up at school and in her personal life, Marin must figure out how to take back the power and rewrite her own rules. Okay, so these next two books here are, well, the same book. I ended up getting 2 copies because Marty also ended up with a copy. So we have Anna K, A Love Story by Jenny Lee, and this comes out March 2020. So this is actually the book that I will be putting for the giveaway for this particular video. This says, every happy teenage girl is the same, while every unhappy teenage girl is miserable in her own special way. At 17, Anna Kay is at the top of Manhattan and Greenwich society, even if she prefers the company of her horses and dogs. She has the perfect, if perfectly boring, boyfriend, and she has always made her Korean-American father proud, even if he can be a bit controlling. As her friends struggle with the pitfalls of teenage life, Anna always seems to sail gracefully above it all. That is, until the night she meets Alexei Count Vronsky, a notorious playboy. Alexei is everything Anna is not. But he has never been in love until he meets Anna, and maybe she hasn't either. As Alexei and Anna are pulled irresistibly together, she has to decide how much of her life she's willing to let go to be with him. And when a shocking revelation threatens to shatter their relationship, she is forced to ask if she has ever known herself at all. Dazzlingly opulent and emotionally riveting, Anna K. A Love Story is a brilliant reimagining of Leo Tolstoy's timeless classic, Anna Karenina. But above all, it is a novel about the dizzying, glorious, heart-stopping experience of first love and first heartbreak. One of the blurbs on the back here says, a little bit Crazy Rich Asians and a little bit Gossip Girl. Another one says, imagine Gossip Girl and Anna Karenina collided. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun to read. So yes, one of these will be my giveaway for this video. Okay, next up we have They Wish They Were Us by Jessica Goodman. This comes out July 2020. This says, Gossip Girl meets One of Us is Lying with a dash of the secret history in this slick, taut murder mystery that will have you guessing until the very end. In Gold Coast, Long Island, everything from the expensive downtown shops to the manicured beaches to the pressed uniforms of Jill Newman and her friends looks perfect. But as Jill found out 3 years ago, nothing is as it seems. Freshman year, Jill's best friend, the brilliant, dazzling Shayla Arnold, was killed by her boyfriend. After that dark night on the beach, Graham confessed. The case was closed and Jill tried to move on. Now it's Jill's senior year and she's determined to make it her best yet. After all, she's a senior and a player, a member of Gold Coast Prep exclusive, not-so-secret secret society. Senior players have the best parties, the highest grades, and the admiration of the entire school. This is going to be Jill's year. She's sure of it. But when Jill starts getting texts proclaiming Graham's innocence, her dreams of the perfect senior year start to crumble. If Graham didn't kill Shayla, who did? Jill is determined to find out, but digging deeper means putting her friendships and her future in jeopardy. Okay, next up we have Between Burning Worlds by Jessica Brody and Joanne Rindle. And apparently this is book 2 of System Divine, which I didn't notice that when I got this, but I feel like I have that book, which is Sky Without Stars, but it's not on my shelves. But I think I may have other boxes of books because I have, even though I've put all the books out of my boxes onto my shelves, I'm missing books. So I think there's more boxes somewhere that I haven't found. So I may still have that book packed. But I could be wrong. I could have just seen it on Book Outlet a billion times. But I pulled it up here on Goodreads so I can tell you about it. It says, a thief, an officer, a guardian. 3 strangers, one shared destiny. When the last days came, the planet of Latar promised hope, but 500 years later, it's now a place where extravagant elite class reigns supreme, where the clouds hide the stars and the poor starve in the streets, where a rebel group long thought dead is resurfacing. Maybe I don't have this book. I probably have just seen it. Anyway, whispers of revolution have begun. A revolution that hinges on 3 unlikely heroes. Chatin is a street-savvy thief who will do anything to escape the brutal regimen, including spying on Marcellus, the grandson of the most powerful man on the planet. Marcellus is an officer and the son of a traitor. Groomed to command by his legendary grandfather, Marcellus begins to doubt the government he's vowed to serve when he discovers a cryptic message that only one person, a girl named Alouette, can read. Alouette is living in an underground refuge where she guards and protects the last surviving library on the planet. But a shocking murder will bring Alouette to the surface for the first time in 12 years and plunge La Terre into chaos. All 3 have roles to play in a dangerous game of revolution, and together they will shape the future of a planet. Power, romance, and destiny collide in this sweeping reimagining of Victor Hugo's masterpiece, Les Miserables. And I don't know how long that book is, but this thing is huge. This is 669 pages, but let me just show you. These pages are fairly dense. So, yeah. I imagine this is going to take a while to get through. Anyway, this one comes out March 2020. Okay, next up we have This Train is Being Held by Ismee Williams. And this comes out February 2020. This says, is a love built on impossible circumstances possible to sustain? When Isabella Warren first meets Alex Rosario on the New York City subway, she remembers his striking good looks and gentle disposition. He remembers her ballet dancer's poise and carefree manner, something he attributes to all rich kids. It's the first of many misunderstandings that mark their serendipitous subway encounters over the course of nearly 2 years. As their romance evolves, Alex reveals the pressure he's under to make his papi proud by playing pro baseball. Isa glows with her love for dance, though her Havana-born mother, a woman with a volatile temper and a prejudice against Latino men, disapproves. When Isa's father loses his job, their family life is thrown into a tailspin. And when Isa fights to hide the cracks in her perfect veneer from Alex, their relationship falters. When they need each other most, can Alex and Isa strip bare the differences that have defined them and learn to truly see one another? Okay, next we have, this one is another one I'm really excited for. This is Time of Our Lives by Emily Wimberly and Austin Segman Broca. I absolutely loved Always Never Yours, and I'm really, really looking forward to more books from them. I'm super excited. I think they have this one coming out in 2020 and another one already planned for 2021, I believe. So excited. This one comes out April 2020. This is called Time of Our Lives. And it says, a boy desperate to hold on, a girl ready to let go. When Fitz and Juniper meet unexpectedly on their college tours, it's hardly love at first sight. They imagine different futures for themselves and seem destined to go their separate ways. But as their paths continue to cross, it becomes impossible to deny the obvious connection between them. And yes, I'm really, really looking forward to reading this. Sorry if there was an angle change, but my battery died. So I'm actually only going to do one more book. Actually, it's 2 books, but it's the same book. Again, Marty and I both ended up with a copy of this, and that is Sensational by Jody Lynn Zedrock. I have 2 copies here. So one of these will be going into a future giveaway. This is the sequel to Spectacle. And I pulled up on Goodreads so I could tell you about Spectacle. It says, a YA murder mystery in which a young reporter must use her supernatural visions to help track down a killer targeting the young women of Paris. Paris, 1887. 16-year-old Natalie Bawden writes the daily morgue column for La Petite Journal. Her job is to summarize each day's new arrivals, a task she finds both fascinating and routine. That is until the day she has a vision of the newest body, a young woman being murdered from the perspective of the murderer himself. When the body of another woman is retrieved from the scene days later, Paris begins to buzz with rumors that this victim may not be the last. Natalie's search for answers sends her down a long, twisty road involving her mentally ill aunt, a brilliant but deluded scientist, and eventually into the Parisian catacombs. As the killer continues to haunt the streets of Paris, it becomes clear that Natalie's strange new ability may make her the only one who can discover the killer's identity, and she'll have to do it before she becomes a target herself. Oh, and this sequel comes out February 2020. So are any of these books that you're excited to read? Have you pre-ordered any of them? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!